everybody, it's Retro Reminiscence, and I'm doing a collab with my boy Zach, Ira Retro Gamer Dad, because he asked me a question that caught me off guard, and I'm not gonna lie, I just don't have a quick answer. Which fighting game franchise is better, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat? And it's one of those things that I've thought a lot about, but I can't make my decision. So won't you guys join me, because I'm going way back. I'm going way back to the 90s. The 90s is where my decision was going to be made. Because there was a game in the 90s that came out and it literally saved arcades. Street Fighter 2. This game alone resurrected the arcade fighting scene. You would never see fighting games like you did in the early to mid 90s if it wasn't for this bad boy right here. Street Fighter 2, when it came out on arcades, blew everybody away. The amount of skill you had to have. You couldn't even get your fingers on these buttons back in arcade. There was that many people surrounding this cabinet. Nothing but stud players, everybody going over, showing how to do moves. It was just a revolutionary experience, and I'll never forget it. I just remember gawking and drooling at the awesome graphic. So when this came home for the Super Nintendo, it was huge. Some say it's an identical arcade port. But in my opinion, if I could complain about one thing about this, it's a hair slower. But as soon as I thought this was just gonna rule fighting games forever, competition came out. Mortal Kombat. And this wasn't no slouch. They came with the big guns. Blood, fatalities, gore. Man, this game caught a lot of controversy. And for good reason. This thing was literal reason that they had rating systems. Was because of Mortal Kombat. But one huge flaw in the Super Nintendo version was that the blood was green. They didn't make the blood red. And that's one reason that the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat was actually better. Because there was a little code that we used to call the ABACAB code. ACACABB. You would type that in on the options menu on the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat, and bam, it would turn that logo red. And as soon as you started the game and you hit that first sweet uppercut, boom! Red blood everywhere. By far, the Genesis version was better. But Nintendo learned their lesson. And just when you thought Mortal Kombat was done for, Mortal Kombat 2 came out. But not to be outdone, Street Fighter 2 Turbo hit the market, baby. And these two games, bam, bam, went head to head. And this, in my opinion, is the quintessential entries in both franchises. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Mortal Kombat 2. Which one's better? Well, first of all, Nintendo learned their lesson. So when they brought this bad boy out, guess what it had? Red blood. And Nintendo learned their lesson on this one. Guess what? They added turbo because both games were fantastic. So it really got my gears turning. Which one was more revolutionary? Which one do I like better? And I made my decision back then. This game right here, $89.99 plus tax at Toys R Us. And this one right here, bought it at Service Merchandise. I'll never forget it. We went in to buy it. You had to be 17, so we went back out to the car and asked my uncle's dad, Denny, to go in and buy it for us because we were too young. So both of these have huge memories in my head. But when I put them together and I compare them, and I just think which franchise is better, and if I had to guess through all the BS, it's a no-brainer. Both of them are good, but there's only one that stand the test of time. And in my opinion, that game is Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Street Fighter series in general. I know that Mortal Kombat makes fantastic games even now, but feeling that I had when I played these games, there was no comparison. To me, this was the only fighting game that mattered, and we played the absolute shit out of this game. Tons of hours of fun. Me, my brother, Casey, Travis, my uncle. I mean, everybody played this game, and it was just one of those things that still holds up. And there's a reason that they literally still play this version in professional tournaments, because this is the quintessential version. Because in my opinion, and theirs, it's the best. Long story, or short story long, my favorite is definitely the Street Fighter series. But not to be forgotten about, Mortal Kombat is damn good too. But if I had to choose and you put a gun to my head, it's a no-brainer. Street Fighter 2, that's my favorite fighting game series. ever. Shout out to Zach for letting me do this. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long, and I can't wait to hear everybody else's opinion on what their favorite is. And until next time, keep on reminiscing, baby.